Hi everybody, Jordan here. Welcome back to Geordie's Basement. It's been a while since I posted anything for the channel. I'm kind of redoing the music room down here in the newest version of Geordie's Basement. You can see some CDs behind me. The LPs are on their way down. It's kind of a process, but I've been inspired lately because I've been watching a lot of your videos, and kind of a growing trend amongst the VC and the music communities on YouTube is to post videos of ranking their albums. So you take a band's discography and rank them from worst to first. And as a kid from the 70s and 80s, reading Billboard magazine every week, it's quite to me it hits home for me. Ranking stuff, top 10, top 20. So that's been interesting for me, and inevitably in everybody's video they say pretty much the same disclaimer, which is, if you don't like my list, then make your own, or put a note in the comments or whatever. So you know what, I'm gonna make my own. I'm gonna try this. I'll give it a shot. It's been a lot of fun. It's been more difficult than I thought, even for the first one, which I thought was gonna be easy. So we'll give it a shot and see what you think. If you have any comments, or if you want to add in and post your own top 10, of course, put it in the comments, and let's see if we can get some discussion going about it. So thank you very much for being here. It's opening day of the football season. Go Eagles, hence me being decked out. Anyway, this first one I've decided is going to be Def Leppard. And I chose Def Leppard not because they're my favorite band. I just felt, looking at the all of my music collection, this would be an easy one to start with. I thought it was going to be simple. Wasn't so simple. It was. I think it's going to be easier than most, but I think these are going to be more difficult than I ever thought they would be. Just because you start listening to these songs again, some of them I haven't heard for years, and it brings back a lot of memories, and you know the drill. It's quite fun actually to do them, so I'm happy I'm doing it. So Def Leppard, we're going to go from worst to first, rank them all. I'll give you my thoughts on each one. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Now, they've made 11 studio albums, but one of them was a covers album called Yeah, which I'm not including. I'm not a fan of covers albums. I'm not a fan of live albums. None of that stuff gets, let me move that out of the way. None of that stuff gets included. So that stuff's going to be eliminated. Okay, so this is just going to be the top 10 Def Leppard studio albums. And I'll just give you my thoughts on each one, see where we go from there, okay? And really, there's only one album in the Def Leppard discography that I don't like, and that's going to be, obviously, number 10. And it's also one that I don't have. I can't find. I know I own it, but I can't find it, so we'll get to that in a second. But the absolute weakest Def Leppard album of all of them is Def Leppard X. This is very, very poor effort by the band, which was sad because it was coming off the heels of the Euphoria album, which I thought was very good. There's nothing about this. I don't know what they were going for. I'm guessing they were going for just like a pop album feel. This is a pop album. It almost sounds boy bandish at times. And I'll give you a long, long way to go. I kind of think it's a good track. 4-letter words, okay. Love Don't Lie isn't bad. But man, it's weak at the end. Let Me Be the One, Scar. This is a weak album. There's really nothing about it that's very good. So it's absolutely the weakest Def Leppard album of all. Thankfully, they would make decent albums after this one. That's number 10. At number 9 is an album that was, when it first came out, I didn't like it all, along with most of the Def Leppard community out there. Didn't like it at all. But over the years, it has grown on me. I have begun to sort of appreciate it more and more as time has gone by. And of course, I'm talking about Slang. Great packaging in this album, by the way. And that's something Def Leppard's always done. Not much of a lyrics type band. I think Joe Elliott once said we're more Bob the Builder than Bob Dylan. So true. But one thing they can really do is package stuff. So if you have the CDs or the LPs, you always know you're going to get good packaging with the Def Leppard album. But Slang was an album, obviously a big departure from the band, trying to do something completely different. They look grungy. They were more acoustic sounding. They really wanted the drums to come through more acoustic. So Rick Allen's playing an acoustic drum set on most of this. And there are some signs of goodness here. I mean, the title track obviously is a true Def Leppard song, Slang. I like Truth a lot, Turn to Dust. My favorite song on the album is Work It Out. I really like that. It's a Vivian Campbell tune. And the rest of it, Deliver Me is decent. Gift of Flesh is probably the hardest rocker on this album. It's pretty good. And Pearl of Euphoria, it's okay. And the album, it's kind of uneven, but I understand what the band was trying to do. And years later, I do appreciate this album way more than I did when it first came out. So that's number 9. All right, number 8 is from 2008. It's Songs from the Sparkle Lounge. Definitely, it's a funny package from the band. The band's all dressed up. I mean, look, it's obviously a motif they're trying to give off here. And there are some really, this album would be ranked even a lot lower if it weren't for, I mean, not a lot lower. There's only 2 more places it could go. But just the Bad Actress, just the song Bad Actress is on this album, which I think is fantastic. Really great rocker from the band. I like Come Undone. I love Gotta Let It Go, which is the final track on the album. I really like that. 9 Lives is decent. Go is okay. Come On is good. Overall, it's okay. It's not the best, not the worst. It kind of falls in the middle. But again, thankfully they got better after this album. So yeah, Songs from the Sparkle Lounge is number 8. Number 7 is one that I don't have. I can't find it. I think it's in a box over there somewhere. I don't know, for some reason. I had it out maybe for the car or something some years ago, and it's not here. But that's the self-titled most recent album, Def Leppard, which I think is probably the hardest rocking album the band has done since High and Dry. I mean, we're talking about here. I have the song titles here because I knew I couldn't find the CD. But songs like All Time High, which is just heavy rocker, Dangerous. The problem with this album, Energize, is decent. And my favorite, Broken and Brokenhearted. I love that track very much. And the problem with this album I have, and the reason why it's not ranked higher, is that, for instance, Let's Go, the very first track, it's a direct ripoff of themselves. I mean, Pour Some Sugar on Me and Let's Go are like sister songs. And it gets to the point, it's so bad that I can't get one out of my head when I'm listening to the other. So because of that, it gets a thumbs down from me. Same with Man Enough, which is track number 3 on this album, which is a direct ripoff of Queen. To the point of, it bothers me when I listen to it. Like, I don't mind if bands are paying tribute to their heroes and such, if they, Def Leppard wants to make a Queen-like song, I can understand that. Joe Elliott talks all the time about his influences and such. I can understand that. That's a little bit too close to, Another One Bites the Dust in that case. And when I hear those 2 songs, I get turned off. But the rest of the album it ends great too. Blind Faith is a great bluesy rocker. I love it. Wings of an Angel is very good. This album is full of hard rock. It's a hard rock album. It's really the hardest rock album Def Leppard made since High and Dry. A tremendous effort. I'm hoping they can build on that. They've not done anything since. It's been 5 years. But that album ranks number 7 on my list. Enough on that. Number 6 is Euphoria, which is the follow-up to Slang, and an album that they had to make after the aforementioned Slang album, which was so poorly received. All of a sudden, the band's back to doing what they do, and rocking out and making Def Leppard-y songs, overproduced, the whole 10 yards. The exact opposite of what Slang was. Demolition Man, Promises, and Back in Your Face. So here, the good and the bad of this album. Those first 3 tracks, Demolition Man, Promises, Back in Your Face, are a triple zinger. I mean, those 3 get you going, and all of a sudden you think, oh my gosh, I'm listening to the next great Def Leppard album. Sadly, not so much. It falls off significantly after that. Goodbye, All Night's okay. Paper Sun's actually a good track. I like that one. But It's Only Love is okay. 21st Century, Sha-La-La Girl is good. That's a fun song. I like it. To Be Alive, Disintegrate's okay. Guilty, Day After Day, Kings of Oblivion. Whew. It really drops off a cliff. Those first 3 tracks, though, make this at least a decent must-have, I think, for Def Leppard fans. And it was a good comeback off of Slang. So Euphoria ranks number 6 on my list. All right, number 5. Number 5 is an album that probably, in at least in my history of being a music lover, probably the hardest thing to come back from is a huge blockbuster album like Hysteria was for Def Leppard. It took them a while, but they did this, which is Adrenalize. Obviously losing Steve Clark in there. Everything bad that could happen to the band happens to the band. But they put out this Adrenalize, which is a good follow-up to what was their magnum opus, as many people think, Hysteria. This album rocks. It's got a lot of fun songs on it. Let's Get Rocked, obviously. Heaven Is, Make Love Like a Man, Tonight. I love White Lightning, the tribute to Steve Clark. I really love that track. Stand Up is good. Personal Property is a hard rocker. It's great. Have You Ever Needed Someone So Bad? It's kind of a cheesy ballad, but then you end up with I Want to Touch You and Tear It Down, which is a great album ender. It really rips. Def Leppard has a lot of those album ending tracks that really rip. We're going to hear a few of them coming up next on the list, but Tear It Down is certainly one of those. And it's a good album. I mean, I'm sure it had its issues. My gosh, I can't imagine what it was like making it and the pressure that they had from the record company and the fans. But overall, it's a good album, and it falls in at number 5 for me on my top Def Leppard albums. All right, number 4, and here's where the hate mail starts. Here's where the comments start to go downhill. It's Hysteria. This is the 4th best Def Leppard album. And this is not because of any other reason other than it's 2020, and I've had this album for, 1987? Okay, so it's 97, 23 years or something? 23 plus years. And it's not, 97, 07, 33 years. Did I say 23? My God, where's the time gone? It's a good thing I don't edit these videos. Almost 35 years this album has been out. Good God. Anyways, that's a subject for another video, my issues with age. 33 years, and it's aged well. I'm not saying it's not aged well. It's just that it doesn't capture me like it used to. And so it's fallen, because at one point, for a while, this album was my favorite Def Leppard album, as was most Def Leppard fans. But then that changed over time. I just don't reach for it anymore. It could be because it was overplayed. I saw the concert probably 5 or 6 times, and it just, and then they put out the Viva Hysteria live thing a couple of years ago. They keep going back to it. Understandably so. It's a money pit for them. I mean, not a money pit in a good way. It's a money maker for them in a good way. So why wouldn't they revisit it? But the album hasn't held up as well as some of the others. And look, if you're the number 4 Def Leppard album, it's not a bad thing. And of course, I don't have to tell you the songs on it, but Women is one of my favorite Def Leppard songs. The album has great hard rockers and great ballads as well. Love Bites is one of the best ballads I've written. Hysteria as well. Gods of War, tremendous. I've always loved Gods of War, which is a deep album track here. Don't Shoot Shotgun and Run Riot. Great 1-2 punch at the end. Rocket I never got Rocket. Still don't get it that much. I think it's kind of bland, to be honest. But look, it's number 4, and I probably will stay at number 4. I don't see it rising up on the charts any more than number 4. All right, let's go on. Number 3. Wow, this album could have been number 1 on my list if it weren't for the production. I'm talking about the debut, On Through the Night, which is for song, it's got 11 tracks on it. It's phenomenal. Some of the best songwriting Def Leppard has ever done. Sadly, it's misproduced. And I love Tom Allom. I think he's made some great albums with Priest specifically. The last Priest album, Firepower, Tom Allom. It sounded great. For some reason, he missed the mark when he produced Leppard on their debut, and it sounds bad. But from a songwriting standpoint and from an energy standpoint, this album is fantastic. Rock Brigade, Hello America, Sorrow is a Woman, It Could Be You, Satellite, phenomenal. When the Walls Come Tumbling Down, Wasted, Rocks Off, It Don't Matter, Answer to the Master, which is my personal favorite, and Overture, which ends the album, strangely enough, because it's an overture. You'd think it would come first on the album, but regardless, but it just doesn't sound great. I mean, this is a young band with a ton of energy, and it just wasn't captured on the album, sadly. Now, I know that it's being remixed. I think it just came out. I haven't heard the remix version. But I'm disappointed that it was produced so poorly up front. That said, it comes in at number 3. I reach for this more often than I would Hysteria. It's a really, really, really solid hard rock album. Very good. Number 3. All right, top 2. Top 2 are probably predictable. My number 2 Def Leppard album is Pyromania. This album came out. This was more of a game changer than Hysteria was when it came out. This is the album that had people going, what is that? Because Photograph was there, and you had this incredible, it sounded like 1,000 people singing in unison, Photograph. And it was like, wow, what's coming through my speakers? That's Mutt Lange. And Mutt Lange obviously had a huge part in the sound of Def Leppard in the heyday, and a huge part in the sound of this album. But this album, from a songwriting perspective, is fantastic as well. The production's great, yes, but the songs are awesome as well. Stage Fright's a song that, it's a great song, and it was a great show opener for the band for many years. Rock Till You Drop, Photograph, Too Late for Love. I was never a Too Late for Love guy, but Die Hard the Hunter, phenomenal. Fool and Rock of Ages, Coming Under Fire, Action Not Words, and my personal favorite on the album now is Billy's Got a Gun. It ends the album. Again, we're talking about great ending songs. The best one yet to come, by the way. But yeah, Pyromania it stood up for the test of time, and tremendous album. What more can you say about Pyromania? It's my second favorite Def Leppard album, number 2. Number 1 is not only the number 1 Def Leppard album of all time, but I also feel it's in the top hard rock albums ever recorded, and that's High and Dry, of course. High and Dry, Def Leppard, High and Dry. There you go. Funny cover. Never understood the guy diving into an empty pool with a bunch of people looking up. Sort of strange, kind of against what we talked about earlier with Def Leppard having great album packages. I guess that developed later on in their career. Also, they're shirtless inside, some of them, which is strange. But anyways, that's besides the point. The music is what counts. And the music on this album is absolutely phenomenal. From the very first riff of Let It Go, that as soon as you hear that guitar riff, the thing doesn't let up for 40 minutes. It keeps you pinned down in your seat like you can't get up, you can't leave. It's phenomenal. Let It Go, another hit and run. High and Dry, Bring It On the Heartbreak is still to this day, it's just a phenomenal song. Switch 625 is a great instrumental. And then you got Me Running, Lady Strange, On Through the Night, Mirror Mirror, and then it ends with No No No. It ends with No No No. Like, that's a phenomenal song. It's pedal to the metal, hard rock, screaming, great production. This is a great hard rock album. I'm going to do a top 10 hard rock albums at some point, and I'm sure this will finish up there at top 3, 4 of all time. Not quite heavy metal, but just hard rock. This is absolutely up there and a must-have. It's not overproduced. It's perfectly produced. Sounds great. Songs are awesome. And if you get the deluxe edition or the later edition, which this one is, you'll get Me and My Wine, which is a great song also on this. You also get the remix version of Bring It On the Heartbreak, which is not as good as the original. But anyway, High and Dry is the number 1 Def Leppard album. So let's recap. We have High and Dry number 1, Pyromania number 2, On Through the Night number 3, Hysteria number 4, Don't Flame Me, Adrenalize number 5, Euphoria is number 6. The self-titled Def Leppard album, which is somewhere over there, is number 7. Number 8, Songs from the Sparkle Lounge. Number 9 is Slang. And number 10 is 10, or Def Leppard X, weak album. I also want to make honorable mention before I send you off here and ask you to please put notes down there what your top 10 is. I wanted to bring this up because I didn't include Yeah in there. I could have included Retroactive, which I really, really enjoy. Great album cover too, with the skull and the woman. There's some great, this is where you're going to find Ride Into the Sun, Ring of Fire, and my favorite, Action, is on this. Fracture Love is on this. Some of those lost Def Leppard songs that didn't make the albums. Really, really, really great packaging and a great album of B-sides, Retroactive. And also finally wanted to bring up, if you're a fan of B-sides and alternate versions, which Leppard did a ton of over the years. I made these 2 self-made CDs. You're going to get, some of the songs that didn't make the album, like Worlds Collide, Good Morning Freedom, we didn't mention. What else is on here? Immortal, great hard rocker. So Release Me, of course. Who Do You Love? And the whole, that was part of the Goodbye single, Who Do You Love? Can't Keep Away From the Flame. There's a bunch of Def Leppard songs that didn't make the albums. So I made my own 2 mini albums here. Obviously, they're not going to be ranked. But the point being, there are a lot of songs that Def Leppard didn't put on the albums. Perhaps maybe they should have made the X album containing some of these songs, and we would have had a higher ranking there. Regardless, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please share with me what your feelings are on the top Leppard albums, and we'll be doing more bands along the way as we go. All right? Take care. Have a first day of football, and go Eagles.